case. So we'll start with a brief history and kind of philosophy of Tai Chi Chuan, because it's good to have, as I said last night, in the internal arts, the Yi, intention, leads the Qi, and the Qi leads the Li, which is physical strength or physical body. So we're all doing Tai Chi Chuan, and we've been doing it, a lot of us, for a long time. But so it would help in guiding us day to day, also for our long-term goals, to remind ourselves what it is we're trying to do. So Tai Chi Chuan means Tai Chi fist. Fist, Chuan means fist, or more broadly, a martial art. Tai Chi literally means the supreme ultimate, but in fact refers to Yin Yang philosophy. And popularly, Yin Yang philosophy is depicted by the Tai Chi symbol, or Tai Chi 2. Many people don't realize that this is actually relatively new. I think it was formulated by a Chinese philosopher called Zhou Dunyi, who lived around the 11th century. And he formulated a symbol and a description of what it means in the 11th century, but it referred the Tai Chi, the concept of Yin Yang itself, goes way, way back to Confucius and beyond. So it's, 2,500 to 3,000 years old, the concept of Yin Yang. It's one of the most definitive concepts of Chinese culture and Chinese history. But in the 11th century, he formulated the Yin Yang. So, as you can see, well, not from this drawing, but from the proper drawing, that there is flow, right? And the extremes, that Yin Yang is interaction of the opposites, and the opposites then constitute the whole. But you can see that it's not polar opposites that have no connection or just has tensions zipping backwards and forwards. That each of the opposites contains the other, and in fact are related, so that as you flow from the extreme of one, you get into the other. In terms of Tai Chi, for instance, like this is a very strong posture, but if you keep on going further and further, thinking you're becoming stronger and stronger, you'll actually become weaker. Okay, and there are many different physical, actual demonstrations of that principle, and you could probably see it in your life. You can maybe see it in the conflict between countries, etc. For instance, the Mao Zedong, the Chinese used it, the Vietnamese used it to good effect against the Americans during the Vietnam War. That not power, by itself is not sufficient. So this can inform us, because if we look at this, this is what we're trying to embody. So we're trying to embody flow, circularity, and containing the opposites at the same time. So, for instance, the lower body is rooted into the earth, and it's very strong, but that allows you then the upper body to relax and be soft. You see, so again, the two opposites are existing at the same time, so that they don't displace each other, they're always interacting. So flow, circularity, consistency. The one thing, considering the Yin Yang theory and Yin Yang symbol, that people forget is actually this. This is Wuji. So Tai Chi is interaction between Yin and Yang, and Wuji is primordial emptiness. So when we start our Tai Chi form, this is called the Wuji posture. So it's a passive posture. But in a passive posture, Yin and Yang still exist. Even though you're not moving, Yin and Yang still existed in, concave and convex, back and front, left and right, up and down. You're breathing, inhaling, exhaling, so that Wuji gives rise to Tai Chi. So from emptiness comes the interaction of Yin and Yang. But another thing to remember is that actually Wuji does not disappear and be replaced by Tai Chi. Wuji still contains Tai Chi. So that in terms of our Tai Chi form, that the emptiness and quietness that you establish in the Wuji posture is still there as you begin to do more and more complex movements. And as I mentioned last night, on a kind of deeper, more philosophical level, Wuji is the emptiness underlies all our activities in life, underlies our breath, right? So if you look closely at your breath, you're inhaling and exhaling, but there's a space between the breath. There's a space between your thoughts, right? If you look at our physical makeup, our atoms and molecules are mostly space. So the space and emptiness is something that, kind of underlies our being, but it's something that we try to escape from. So we try to fill the space in our lives with thoughts and activities. We don't like that space. Space is seen as unproductive or boring or whatever, very threatening. Sometimes, some people I've worked with teachers of outward bound type stuff who can climb mountains, slide down on ropes, etc., but are quite threatened by the fact of just being quiet in the company of other people. So that everything is yin yang. We can excel in one way, but sometimes in directing our activities in certain areas, we're subtly avoiding other areas. So in Tai Chi Chuan and in life itself, according to Tai Chi philosophy, we embrace all aspects of our being, and including, at a very deep level, including the aspect of nothingness, emptiness, having nothing, going nowhere, which actually in a way is death. So we're afraid of dying because of something that we don't know. In this area, we know stuff, we can gather information, but beyond that, we feel threatened. So that is what has informed my own practice of Tai Chi, because I was drawn to it before I met my teacher, and after I left my teacher because I came to Canada and I no longer had a teacher, I kept on going back to Tai Chi, because this is actually, all the greatest teachers said this is actually the basis of the practice. So historically, the founder of Tai Chi, sorry, not historically, legend has it that the founder of Tai Chi was Zhang Sanfeng, who lived about 100 years after Zhou Dengyi. So Zhou Dengyi lived in the 11th century. Zhang Sanfeng was, rumor had he lived around the 12th century, but legend has it he actually lived also anywhere between 100 to 300 years, so it could have been anywhere between them. But it was interesting that around the same time, what temple? The Taoist temple in Kraojing. Yeah, the Wudang temple. Apparently the Wudang temple was started around the same time. It took a long time to build, but it was started around the same time. It was supposed to be dedicated to Zhang Sanfeng. So that is the legendary founder of Tai Chi. And then there are, in the handout that I gave you, there are sayings attributed to Zhang Sanfeng, but historically we don't know whether he actually existed, just as historically we don't know whether Lao Tzu existed, the supposed author of the Tao Te Ching, which is, again, 2,500 years ago, around the time of the Buddha. We don't know whether he actually was a historical figure. But if we jump forward to the middle of the 19th century, then we do see the historical origins of Tai Chi Chuan, and it points to the Chen village. So Chen style Tai Chi gave rise to all of the basic forms of Tai Chi that we now know, and we can historically trace them. I think that's enough.
Okay.